Everyone online, welcome back to JAMStackGR. We have a special guest presenter tonight. We'll be covering serverless. Kira comes from us from OST, and she has more of a mobile background, but is excited to show us some serverless functions within Firebase. I will hand it over to Kira. All right.
Move all the stuff that can spill out the way.
Throwing around mics and stuff. Awesome.
All right. Am I speaking loud enough? I hope so. If not, dang. Cool. So, gonna start with Firebase serverless stuff. Gonna build like simple CRUD. So if you don't know what CRUD means, it's create, read, update, and delete. So for me as a mobile dev, it's important for you to kind of know some backend stuff. I am also very biased. I only write backend stuff in Node. So I just kind of want to demo the difference between a normal API hosted on a server and serverless, because Alex and a lot of other people at work talk about it and they love it. So I'm gonna cheat. I don't like live coding. I'm just gonna copy and paste, but I do believe I sent Alex the link to the repo. So you can look at the repo, you can see the other code that I wrote previously, but we're just pretty much gonna copy the same thing. So I'm gonna do a lot of stuff from the terminal. So if you don't know this, don't be too worried about it. You can do a lot of stuff from Firebase console as well. But
Okay, we'll zoom in a little bit.
do I know how to do that? Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, does that work? It look big enough?
I think so.
Cool. So let's see if I learned some things. All right, so typically I do hosting and database type of stuff, but here we're just gonna use a database and functions. I didn't want to worry about the UI stuff because I don't use web, so I just kind of skipped it. But the database that we'll be using is the real-time database. It's a little bit different from Firestore, and it's actually fairly common for most mobile apps to use it. So I'm gonna create a new project. What would you like to call you? Man. All right, guess we have to do this the hard way. Actually. So the thing I've realized with Google, their things don't always work for me from the command line. So probably it's better to go here. This is just the Firebase console. We don't need analytics.
There's a couple things on GCP. It seems like it's been slow lately too. I don't know why. Like those quick labs that we've been doing. Kind of bummer.
So one thing I've also noticed, like with Google functions, they don't always work the first time around. So I'll probably be able to demo that in the update function the most. It takes like 2 or 3 clicks for the function to actually like set up and run properly, but it's not broken technically.
This is exceptional.
I know. Google did it go down? GCP status. I think that'll pull it up.
So Still green. Oh, flares.
I don't even want Firestore.
Nope, you're good.
Alright. So I'm gonna try to cheat their system.
Which fire, yeah?
Paper airplane. Let's see if I can cheat it. Let's see if it works.
JAMStack? Yep. Alex. That's your day. We got it going a little bit already. We're struggling with Firebase a little bit. Pizza's in the kitchen if you want any, pops in the fridge. Just stuck?
Yeah, it's just stuck.
Awesome.
People turn down pizza.
I blame Google. I'm purposely gonna write like so much trash about Google in this first function.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, do it every time. Even my code now, the first function.
Did you try refreshing just that window to see if it would come back?
Yeah, I got like 2 tabs going here. It didn't even create it. All right, this is fun. Well, while we wait on that.
So can you speak a little bit about just kind of what we're going to go through, perhaps, for the serverless side of functions? Are you connecting this up to a mobile app or just kind of
So you can connect it to anything you want. I initially, when I went through this, I was going to connect it to a web app, but then I started like looking at code, and yeah, that was a lot. But once you have it done, like, it doesn't matter what you use, whether it's a mobile app, website, what have you. I just hit the back end like normal. Like nothing changes. Wow, invalid character.
Here, I'm gonna try to spin up a project.
Oh, it worked. Okay.
Cool.
So, because Google likes to play me all the time, we're gonna go through and actually start these things. So when you're doing the database for this, make sure you click the actual one that says database. I know how to work with Firestore, I just don't like to. And we're gonna use the functions tab too, if one of them will load, maybe. While this is loading, let's try to connect it again from the terminal. Database, functions, using. There we go. I'd ask if anyone has questions, but yeah, it's not on my screen, so I wouldn't know. Anyone here have questions? I can answer those. Is Google going under for the holidays? What is going on here? All right, so if you don't know, just to like waste time as this gets its life together, using the Firebase CLI, which is the thing in the terminal, it's gonna create all the files for us. So we just have to go in and edit, which is great if you're lazy, which I tend to be. So It's going to create the rules files for our database. It's going to give us an initial function that we can test out. And that's pretty much it. Yep.
I have to tell you, I've been working on Firebase. I've never run any of these, so it's crazy.
Yeah, this is why I go to AWS.
I'm starting to wonder if our Wi-Fi to a degree.
That was one of my questions. How is this different from AWS?
How is it different? That's a good question. So, other than the names, you know, because AWS doesn't use traditional names, so functions in GCP would be equivalent to Lambda, and then their real-time database could be whichever database you choose on AWS. I think the popular one that Lambda has like a blueprint for tends to be DynamoDB.
Probably more closely associated Firestore and DynamoDB.
Yeah. So, and then like for me, because I'm actually trying to build a bot through Lambda, it's been a little difficult. But it seems like Cloud9 using that. I don't know if you know what that is. Like it's a browser IDE, so you can code within AWS because Amazon bought Cloud9. So you can import your functions there, and like, you know, if you're using Node, import any packages you need for your Lambda function and then push it back to Lambda. So it just makes it easier for you to stay in AWS. That's as close as you get to like smooth testing, CLI, and code like all in one area. Like Google, I think, makes it a little easier to do. Like I'm not gonna use GCP directly, but if you wanted to, like their CLI and everything, like the little terminal window is right there, all in their platform.
I actually lost your Hangouts.
I see.
There's definitely network issues.
Yep.
Abound.
Yep, because it's timing out.
That's fine.
Is there a different one?
The crazy part is I'm still transmitting.
Is there a different network other than Paper Airplane?
Do the kitchen. If you know your OSD login.
Oh, I think I know my OSD login. I would hope so.
Shut off. Like, our public shuts off automatically, but staff stays on.
That's a good point. I'm still on.
I don't know. Let's see if it'll just let me rejoin.
Yeah, you're just about to take off over there. Screaming.
Premium and Google Hangouts together.
Mute this, present now. Let's go 95% Wi-Fi.
For the people on the stream.
You're not Michael. There's 3 concurrent viewers.
Wait, make these files already? I don't know what's in the trash can. Fingers crossed it goes through. Nope. Server error. Socket hang up. I don't know what these things mean.
Which
No.
Wi-Fi are you on?
The Paper Airplane. Yeah, I can't even find the kitchen.
That's weird. Doesn't even show up.
Yep. Yay. Technology. Oh, crap. My bad. I just restarted the Wi-Fi to see if I could find it. I got the kitchen. Great. Do I have to put my full email for OSC for the kitchen?
Yeah, do the at OSD.
Oh.
It should be the same as like your login for like change point, I believe.
You'll have to redo AirPlay too.
Yep. So AirPlay and Wi-Fi are somehow connected. Oh snap! All right, let's try this again. What is it? I should be able
Are
to.
you actually plugged in?
That's not charged
Yeah,
yet?
I'd say going 30%, 20%, 11. It's getting interesting. I don't know if it ever like actually run out.
Too fast, too furious.
The computer's not. It's dying more than it's charging.
Which is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, 4943.
I don't know, maybe it'll hang on. I guess we'll all just have to chat as friends and no one online.
All right.
Good.
It might not fail anymore. Maybe. We'll see.
Did you throw Hangouts back on?
Did it disconnect?
Terrible. Yes.
Oh man.
I think we're in business.
Well, let's see if this works.
At least OBS doesn't crash.
Hey, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't say that OBS.
Oh, look, now it like really worked. I asked me if I wanted TypeScript and everything.
See, that's how it's supposed to work. Wi-Fi, it's not Google. So you can't blame
Blame Google for everything. So that's actually like the best phone network I had.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but now I have Visible because it runs on Verizon's network. And it's cheaper.
I thought it's still fine. Use Verizon.
Yeah, it uses Verizon, Sprint, and it uses all three.
5?
Mm-hmm.
Sprint, T-Mobile, and other smaller. They did
AT&T.
I think
I'm
it
on
is.
5.
Google charged like a random $300 to my account, so I ended the phone plan because no one could find it.
Cap hour is at 120.
Yeah, they tied my card to like GCP, and I guess a client was using an API key that I thought I deleted, and then they were like, "Oh, it's deleted,"
So that was in Google 5.
but nobody could find it.
They removed that charge. Right?
Nope. Bank did though.
I was gonna say, I was. Alright, cool.
Hey, we got it.
That's,
All right, so
you may have to turn up the res on your
oh yeah.
code. Command plus. Beautiful.
All right, so the files that we get, this Firebase.json, I never read it, so I don't really know what it does. The database rules are here. It defaults to not having you auth for anything with your database, which is great for testing. And then, not gonna lie, I have no clue what this is. And the functions folder.
The Firebase RC is just a reference to your Firebase project.
Huh.
And Firebase.json it's mainly used host. If you open it, I can probably tell you what. So yeah, it locates like the different files within the system. So it tells it where functions are for your location, for your Firebase functions. Then your database rules, and there's usually an index file as well that's covered in there. And then if you have hosting, there's a whole thing.
Interesting. I should
Yeah,
probably
just
look at
tell
that
me
more.
So the equivalent on Firebase is going to amplify for AWS.
Oh, yeah, I can see that now. So yeah, but like the most important part, you don't really have to worry about your database from here. You really just have to look into this functions folder. You have node modules inside the functions folder. So that's very important. You don't want to do the node anything from the root folder. You want to make sure you're in functions. And then you have your index file and your package.json. So it already comes with Firebase admin, which is what we need. So you don't have to import your credentials. It already has it saved somewhere in here. It's like black box magic. And then has all this other stuff. What's really important is this deploy. The Firebase deploy only functions because if you're like me and you want to do like 3 of these things at once, but your functions are the only thing you care about, you want to make sure you're using, this deploy script the entire time. Which is pretty much what we're gonna use, except we're gonna like specify which function it is as we go along, so we're not waiting for a whole redeploy of the file every time. So we got our index.json file, and we can delete all of this and uncomment here. So just general is, important Firebase functions, and this is kind of like your slash, I guess, if you're looking at an API and you have like the / hello world. So we're just gonna deploy this. Oh, and you deploy from the root folder. Not 100% sure if it works from inside the functions folder. I'm gonna go with no. But the modules that it does look up, like if you have other files in here and you have another node modules, it's not gonna look at the one on the root. It only goes through with whatever's in your functions folder.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've looked at it or not, but typically there's a like text.
Nah, I use JavaScript.
So I was gonna say there's an output folder that.
I hear TypeScript is a new thing the kids are using nowadays.
Turn it all day.
Me too.
Yeah, I got Kotlin and Swift, so
yeah, you're already.
yeah, I'm already in there. There's no need for TypeScript in my world. I also don't know why the functions use node 8. I think you can change it inside of GCP. I know you can change like your memory and your timeout, which sometimes is important depending on what you're doing. But node 8 is pretty solid from what I've seen, I think.
So node 8 is coming up on LTS soon, relatively quickly, unfortunately. So you can specify 10 in your JSON file. So
AWS defaults to 12. So
yeah, there is a lot of things apparently running on Firebase functions for older versions of Node, but it took a while. They actually started down the path of upgrade and then pulled it back.
dang. So if we refresh this page, we should see our URL. All right, so we got all the information here, how much memory we have, our timeout, what region we're in. I don't remember specifying the region. I think it automatically defaults to the US Central 1. I think.
Do you actually want to try double charging?
All right, so here we go. So this is our hello world function, hello from Firebase. So now it's time for cheating because I don't like live coding. So we're gonna copy and paste the create function. So I just have it here. We'll change some things, kind of like being back in college. You don't want your stuff to look the same. So we'll just use add. So if you've never used the real-time database before, there's like the documentation is pretty solid, but basically here, we're not going to use a reference. So it's it's like a file system, basically, is how our database is set up. So we're just gonna put everything in like the root file. We're just gonna keep adding things, and your response that you're gonna see is word added. So after we work on the add function and we see that, we'll show it in the database from Firebase console, and then we'll work on, you know, like a reading function, so you can just see it print out on the web page. So here we're getting, from our request, we're getting a query. Call that query text. It's gonna save to Word, and then you're gonna take like a snapshot of your database wherever it is at the moment, which it should be empty right now, and then we're gonna push whatever that word is, and it should be like, hey, this worked. If it doesn't work, I don't know, that would be interesting. So Firebase Deploy functions, and this one is called add. So the command I used was that Firebase Deploy only. After the functions keyword, you just do a colon. I think that's a colon. Cool, a colon and the name of the function. So here our function is called add, and we'll go here. I think it's another reason why I just like stuck with Lambda functions. Since you have to build them within like the console, they kind of like automatically deploy themselves.
Yeah, so actually the amplify example, we do like CLI setup. I think it's more, yeah, it's CLI. Creative.
All right, so when you do your query, you don't have to add in quotes. That's very important. If you do add in quotes, if I'm not mistaken, it just adds that in, you know? So first text can be hi. Yeah, fun. I really can't handle it. All right, so check the logs. It might not have deployed. Said it deployed. It might have lied. Oh, nope. I forgot to import something. All right, so this admin thing is important. So ESLint kind of should have found that, but it didn't. But basically, this is so our database is open to everyone. If we want to close it off at any moment, it is fine, as long as we use this Firebase admin, because it has our credentials. So technically, we'll be logged in. So I'll just deploy the entire file to make sure that that just stays consistent throughout the entire thing. Because what Google does, even though we add these like function by function, it has a general file, and it'll just like copy and paste that to every function as you update it. So if it's already there, you add a new function and you want to just deploy that one function, it's gonna copy and paste the previous stuff as well and throw in that function at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at that. Get there.
I think I remember how to get there. All right, so this should work now. Another way to tell if your functions are like up and running yet is through your logs. So where I saw those 2 errors, this little flag thing typically tells you like, hey, we're gonna deploy or what have you. And then I look for this. I don't really know what this means, quote unquote. Has a lot of stuff in it, but that usually means like you're good to go. You're good to test. So we should be able to just try this again. Got a nice response.
Word.
All right, so we got a couple of words in there. So if we go over here to the database, You see here, we have all three of those. So you can see it works. The initial example that Firebase gives you, it'll redirect to this page. That's cool, but when you test, that can also get really annoying. And then if you're just thinking about like practical application, kind of want your response to be like this nice JSON thing. So just have it print out, you know, something simple. So we'll do the read function next. So we got C working on the R. Huh? Oh, I don't know. What comment did I put there? Yeah, it's kind of useless. Cause like, full disclosure, the last time I made an API, it was to capture like when people use my mobile app, I was stealing like their Wi-Fi SSID because I do security work, and I was giving a presentation on that. So your read portion is really for other people. Like if you're using this in an actual application though, it's very important. So say you like got all this stuff running and you want to read everything in the database, it would be important. But just building an app for your, or just a CRUD application in general for yourself, it's kind of sort of not that important. But I did do good comments for once in my life. So the idea here is to loop through your snapshot, grab the children, and then you want to push it to this array that we have to store, you know, all of our items in the database. So even though we're using like request and response, there's not going to be any request portion. We're just going in and say like, hey, we know this exists. Go grab those words, give them back, and print them. So our response here should be what, hi, word, and pizza. And, you know. Read. I'm also not too sure if there's a faster way to do this. I live in the command line, so this does not bother me. I'm honestly, I think unless you go through Google Cloud Platform itself, if you're just using like the Firebase console, I think using a terminal is the only option you have for deploying functions.
Yeah, the only alternative, which is still kind of CLI, is like, yes.
All right, so
That's a good point, because AWS has a ability to fly or edit code live in like a S3 bucket or
yep.
something like that to save going.
Now you can do inline editing.
So like 5 meg or something.
10 megabytes, I think is what it is now.
Cool.
So, man, I've been staring at it for the past week. So yeah, here we go. Here's our read function. So I guess another thing to note is everything's after the slash. So I'm not 100% sure if you can just have something without, like with the hello world, we have to put slash hello world at the end. So I don't think there is a true just like backslash function for this.
You can deploy like an express type of API out there. Have a full one.
Yeah, so that's what I'm used to is like express node, throw it on the server, keep it moving. So this is what I was talking about. Functions kind of seem like they're broken, but it's not. You just kind of have to keep refreshing, and I know that it's kind of iffy. I don't know why it does that, but it does work.
You get different results each time, or does it from now on you'll get the 3 words?
It depends. Like sometimes if you update your code or like you do a full new deploy, like it's not gonna work for the first 2 or 3 clicks.
Can we look at your read function?
Yep. I was trying to see. So you can see like where it's called here, and you get 200 and 304. So that's why it's kind of weird. It just alternates between 200 and 304 a lot. Yeah. So probably. Oh, I guess I should also kind of explain this a little bit. So we got the same idea here with the admin.database.ref. That is a reference to like this snapshot of your database. And .on is one of the functions in the real-time database. You have to use value. It's a generic word. I'm not too sure you can change it. I've never changed it. I don't think anyone else has ever changed it. And then this is a function, and we just call it like snap for snapshot. And
I think it has an API. There's other values because it's always key value pairs, so you can loop through the values, or you can loop through.
Oh, that makes sense. This is why I don't do web.
I think what you have going on here, on part of that is waiting for a value update, almost like a stream. So without putting in a wait in or anything, it's jumping directly to your response.send immediately. And you're kind of almost getting lucky that it's ever coming back with that.
So if I do this, it should work?
I don't think
No.
that,
Like, I know it's a promise
right.
type of thing, but I can just tell you that word. I don't 100% know what it means. I know how it
Bring up
works.
the documentation on and see what its return value is.
I believe so.
Yeah, if on is a if it's a promise, you can wait it.
I do believe it is.
Never remember. There's one that streams and one that just grabs the data.
I can say like .on for me is familiar because it's something you use in mobile as well. Yeah, right here. So if you're reading data once,
Yeah, I've always used that once instead of on because it won't send you a stream at that point.
let's try it.
Probably gonna break your whole
Only going to return one value.
It's still referencing the so it's the collection of actually everything in your database the way you have the
Gotcha.
oh, we're using Firebase.
I think that it's the same. It's the same from a mobile perspective, so I'm assuming it's the same for web. Like the.
Different.
Oh, you mean like schema wise? Oh yeah.
Whereas there is like collections, the document and collections off of. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can also have like apps, grades. There's some.
All right, so cool. It deployed. See if it breaks.
Yeah, because the first time they returned,
Consistently getting nothing. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted.
but it isn't a promise. You could do.
We can cover that so we don't completely blow apart your example. We'll take a look at it after you get through all your stuff. Come back through some code and mess with it.
It's all good. I get it to work and I move on. Like the best backend dev. So what's next? The update. Don't read my comments. So, all right. So I'll walk you through this code. So we're going through send requests with a query. Our query is gonna have two things, old and new. And we're gonna pull those words. So old obviously is what's already in our database. And then new is what's not, or whatever we wanna replace it with. So we're gonna go through our database and look for that particular key. Or that value, excuse me. And if the value matches up, we're gonna completely replace it. My understanding is that's what set does. It's like a overwrite type of thing. I tried using, I actually believe it's .update, but I don't know, it wasn't playing nicely with these functions. So just override it. You probably shouldn't do this in like a live app though. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, you got the same little for loop from the read function here, and this is our comparison. ESLint will not let you use the 2 equal signs. You do have to use the 3. So it's strict checking, I think is what it's called. And then if we update it, we'll send it's updated. If we didn't find it in our database at all, we're gonna say like word not found. So
you notice you have issues with this as well updating? It's kind of the same issue that's happening here.
Oh yeah.
Value and then
it basically like the R, U, and D are all like
we'll take a look. You almost have to loop that where it goes to like snap for each does the comparison. That's where your logic would have to be. Otherwise you'd have to wait to call that next if.
Yep. Well, I just added in all the else statements, if else. Things I learned in college. When your stuff breaks, you either do a try catch or if else.
Doesn't blow up.
Yeah. Teachers used to get mad at that. I read between the lines. As long as I get an A.
Franker, I'm happy to say, percentage went up.
Yeah.
Might be actually charged.
Double power bridge.
Alright, so
Hate to peel it back this
25 new logs. Alright, yes, our update function is up. Slash update query old, I think it's high, and new equals by. Did I spell this right? I did. So yeah, says word not found. It updates. It's not broken. And just to prove that that actually worked, I is now by. So, I mean, we could clearly do like a word that's not here, so we could keep the same thing. I shouldn't be there.
You do something cool while you're doing this? You split screen and show it up there?
We can try.
the Firebase console actually has built-in capability to check the observable side too. So you can apply to something.
Yeah, we can I'll do word. That is one caveat. Like after it's working, the other ones start to work with the update.
I think you're getting like a reuse of your function at that point, so it's actually it should not.
It's all good. It's all good. It works. That's what matters.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll mess around.
So we've done the create, the read, the update, and now the delete, which is like my favorite. So copy this. All right, so kind of same thing here. Request, we want to get the query text, whatever that text is, we're looking for it. And if we find it, we're like, hey, here's the key to this word, and then we're just gonna delete it. So, and same thing applies here. Like if it's not there, word not found.
We haven't been streaming anything but a bonus.
Oh man, they missed the fail.
Gotta bring your own Wi-Fi, Alex. Can't rely on this public nonsense. Hotspot, 5G.
I think this one might be. It appears that when you're added on 2 different desktops, and anytime I flip back to watch the, I think Hangouts is blank. So it never. So it's just my fail completely.
Nice.
I think next time I'll try, like if we do more remote stuff, I'll try Zoom. I'm trying to figure out the.
Zoom beats everybody.
That was solid.
All right, so delete is up, and we don't need this screen anymore.
One of these days, let's have it all clear. We'll be good. Something that's white too, like OBS.
There we go. Where it deleted. Then pizza goes away. So if
That's the one that we want.
yeah. So if you're looking at like just the colors for the database, green is add, yellow update, red is delete. I don't think they have any other colors, but this is probably also why I stick with the real-time database versus Firestore. From a mobile perspective, when you're like really screwing with stuff and you're trying to just figure it out, it's easier to see the color flash on the corner of your eye than actually like watching, you know, like words and stuff move or disappear. The color just really helps. But yeah, like that's it. You can use this for whatever you want to. You can now do like the 4 basic things that every backend dev should be able to do with the API. You just gotta get the right endpoint. And this is set up, should say the functions.https is to make sure that it's through HTTPS request. So that also is a difference with AWS. You have to also add on the API gateway for those type of things. So you can set up these functions to also like, with the reading function, if I just want to say like anytime there's any type of like update on the database, go ahead and call that read function. In the documentation, they have it where you can do like functions, I think it's .database, and it'll just monitor the database itself for update. So a little bit easier, I would say, to connect different parts of the app right here within functions than it is on AWS. AWS will make you add on services each time. Google's kind of like, you type it, we'll make it happen.
You find from like a mobile developer that picking out functions was fairly.
So yes and no. I am a mobile developer that like preaches knowing some web dev. I honestly believe everyone should know backend. So whether it's Python or Node, so it's kind of easy in that respect. Like I've built my own APIs, clearly for slightly malicious reasons of research, but you know I've done it. I do a lot of server stuff, so it just kind of made sense. Jumping in new, I think serverless is a little better, especially when you like anybody can write a function. That part, once you're coding, makes sense. It's just trying to understand at what point do you move away from serverless? Like where is your bottleneck? And I think that's something no one has fully seen yet. Everyone's willing to risk. But I think honestly, once you hit a certain cache value, you're gonna see a difference. And I think so. AWS, you can use Go, Ruby, Node, Python for Lambda functions. Google is like strictly-ish Node. So if you don't like JavaScript, you're kind of SOL. And it's not that bad. I think you should know it because going from, you know, these functions to your typical Node Express app to throw up on a server, it'd probably take me like 5 minutes to do that. I already have a template for one, but then like on top of that, you've already written the functions. So you're just copy and pasting it over.
So I think some folks online are not able see what was happening. Unfortunately. You guys mind if I walk the tutorial again just to throw it back together? Probably twice as fast as you did explaining and just get to that point. See how that goes? You guys, am I killing time? You gotta go. But, yeah, how this works here.
Oh, you need the screen back?
I'm gonna kill the hangout if we're good with that. If you're done demoing.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna kill hangout. I'm gonna try to roll locally. Just to give them the flavor here. Try to kill. Maybe my machine will not light on fire now.
Just use that to melt the snow off your car when you go out there.
Holy smokes. Well, let's see.
So the API for the on function is that it returns the callback reference so that you can then later use the off topic.
Okay.
And the difference is the once function returns promise. So you definitely difference. And the value, there's 4 or 5 different go in there. Just like the value change, or the child change, or the child update, like this.
Oh yeah. So
Those are the things.
yeah, I've seen those. I guess like for me, like I said, when the documentation for web versus like documentation I'm used to looking at, which is Android, it looked one and the same. And I was like, cool. I do this in the Android app, so I know this works. Keep it moving.
Google probably has some incentive to do this.
True. Plus, I tell everyone Kotlin's JavaScript, so yeah, it makes sense.
Isn't everything JavaScript now?
Pretty much.
So.
Gotta move out of mobile development where it eats me.
I'm gonna take a move.
Yep. There you go. That is like the interesting thing with mobile dev. Everything is literally moving to JavaScript, and I just don't like the web. So I probably have like 2 or 3 more years before it completely devours. I don't like any of it. Like if I had to do that every day, like okay, granted I kind of do it, but like
one concrete thing.
Yeah, if I had to build any site from ground up, I would literally jump out of tech. Like would not stay in tech at all.
Oh, this is finished.
I never took it.
Like, you're not gonna steal my job. I feel comfortable.
Well, I never took a web dev class either, so I tested out of mine because it was like, hey, do you know HTML, CSS, basic JavaScript, and PHP? You can use nodes.
I've taken plenty of those classes back in the day, and I'm like, I know more than the instructor. So
they were never great in school. Yeah, it was
just because the technology was way faster than a professor.
Yeah.
Lesson.
All right, so I'm gonna try to run through your craziness here. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna open up, create a new Firebase project.
There's like 2,000.
Like crush all of our Wi-Fi's.
Did you look at the source code?
Oh, did you want me to just send you the link? That could have been smart.
The GitHub repo?
So I go back
I had
No, I can send you the link that the functions run on.
Oh, I was just gonna run through the code so they can see
okay.
it. We missed that like whole part, I guess. We're gonna spin up a new Firebase project. Create the project hopefully a little quicker than
Right? Maybe.
One
main entry.
main entry or that might be easiest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double door. Sorry. So I don't have to technically git clone the way you did it, right? So they're all in here, right?
Yep.
So project. And then I'm gonna hop into terminal. Where are you guys? Did that far behind? Things are interesting when you're OBSing out and trying to do it.
Are you with the mic?
Maybe.
I mean,
Haven't
nobody
checked
said they
the
couldn't
audio.
hear you, but you know.
People online have given up. I'm sorry, people online.
The resource constraint thing.
This has been interesting.
By the 100th meeting, you'll have it down.
At least the people in the room are like awesome, right? Okay. I'm gonna do JAMStackGR serverless. Oops. And then just Firebase init is how you did it. There's so many ways to get going. So we're gonna do a database. We're gonna do some functions. We're gonna create a new project. Nope, I already created the project. I have a few. Just a few. Yep, that's fine. That's right, there's no index on Firebase. I'll stick with your JavaScript.
Don't forget TypeScript. Just adding like.
It gives you all the nice things about like Java. Think of it that way.
Oh, people
Like
Java.
the typings and stuff like that.
No, it's more like C#.
Well, yeah, but like mobile developer.
C# is also more like Java.
I like Java more.
Java is OG.
So you get all your cool typings and like those
So basically,
pieces
the
too.
benefit of using TypeScript.
I always thought it's really only like helpful when you hit. I don't know how much it is.
No, it's
No,
helpful all through development.
The way I use it, it fully speeds up me making changes. Like if I change a interface, it'll yell at me and tell me these 25 things are all broken. I just kind of click through and find them. I don't have to search for them. I don't have to do anything. It does all that for me.
So just to repeat back everything that Kira already said. So Firebase JSON, it shows the database like rules, where the functions are occurring. The database rules are in here. The read write on this is false. That's why I was surprised. Oh, you're using the admin though, SDK, so that doesn't matter. If you're to try to read this in any of the JavaScript SDKs, it will fail because the database is locked down, right? And then this is just referencing our project. We'll dive in here. I think you showed off the hello world, so we will leave that as is for now. We'll do a Firebase Deploy. So Firebase Deploy is actually going to update the database rules even though they're not going to update, and then spin out the node modules. Or the node modules. The Firebase functions that have node modules. I do. I love that. I love that one. That is. I always use it in my React projects to check out the size.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Once you get past like 5,000.
Import cost, I think is the correct one.
Don't want to know.
I like it. I like to know. Actually, I really like the fact it picks up on it and actually found it. That's part of it. I gotta tell you, this is slower than I'm accustomed to.
When are we dropping internet? Soon. Like it's been out of support for 2 years now.
Yeah, I think Windows 7 is like
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Mid-January is the last official update.
yeah, so
I did not know that.
I wonder how that looks pretty well.
So if you're a large enough corporation, you either A, already moved or are paying Microsoft.
The government's not going to. We're gonna be on 7 for another.
I saw somebody on Vista the other day. I was like, what?
when I got
Like that's the most broken system I've ever
it
seen.
came out,
Was it on Shodan? There's still XP boxes out there. There's still Windows 2000 boxes out there.
XP, I feel like could have run forever. But... All right, deploy complete.
Go to your local hospital and have fun.
There's some like tablets and things that run on some amazingly old stuff that we deal with.
Or like printing shops.
Yeah. So if you're like me, some of the the fun of these, you have to make sure you're getting the right user when you do this stuff. I know. Actually, that wasn't what I was looking for, so that makes me feel much better. I was like, why are you asking for an account? So there's your hello world appearing. And then Kira wants me to copy some stuff from here and leave hello world. Cool. There's the things. There's the ad. I think just to like avoid some, like, I'm just gonna throw them all out there at once and kind of walk through it that way because we're having some fun network problems here. So throw that whole thing in. Oh, not that whole thing. Not that whole thing, right? Oops. Just can't do it right, guys. Click the right. Success. All right. Instead of doing these individually, you can, so I think Kira showed us Firebase Deploy and then functions.
Dash.
Yes, thank you. Always forget that. And then she was using the colon. If you just leave that off, it will just do all of your functions. And actually, since we really don't have anything else in this, we could have just probably deployed again. The nice part of the CLI improvement they made a while back now is, I don't know if we'll see it in here, there's a cache that appears, and that might only be in the hosting side of this. So if you're doing like front-end hosting through them, it keeps a cache and understands what files have changed, so that way they only have to upload the changes and not like everything every time. So you'll see all of our fun little functions coming out here. Pop back over here, see everyone's. Oh boy. Alright, cool. So now we are going to do add. What's your terms again? Is it Word?
Copy and paste it, so it'll be add comment.
Add comment?
Add comment.
Is it question mark? Guess I could actually look at the code, huh? Text. Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna go back with that pizza example because I enjoyed that. Look at that, word added. Sweet.
First time. The one that works the first time, and then everything else.
Create function is perfect. It's the rest of them.
Create functions interesting because why? Oh wait. So the fun part on Firebase functions is it's always looking for an a promise back. So whether you await and then the response that send is your promise, or any other type of promise that you return. And it used to be without await, not that long ago. You saw then, all the way down this fun tree before await got introduced. So Off away. To add, are we reading at this point? In the CRUD, CRUD,
so yeah, read.
create, read. Do we? Oh, that's right. You just said. Does read actually spit back there, right?
It's read comment.
No, that's fine. Oh, comments, plural. Gotcha. Hashtag not winning. Comments. Read. Again, if I would just, for those online who are like me, the reason I can't seem to type, I'm trying to type this right here so that it knows what function, which relates to this function. I think here I wanted to do a little something here and actually spit them back, but we're running into that same await issue type of thing. So if we do want to fix one of these, since I promised we would, what are these coming back with? A snapshot? So this can actually return is data snapshot a promise though? Let's dive in a little here. Yes, so that's a thing. And then if we did on values, actually, if we just do that, I think you're safe at that point. Oh, it does? But she's got the function specified in here.
Right, so it's like a function, it's not a function reference. So that when you use the off function, it can have this name to that thing. So this is going to get fired every time there's a change in the value of that location in your database.
Ah, we want once, correct?
Then once we turn the promise.
That's what we're looking for. And so typically you would put something like const thing equals, and it would be in this thing, and then you would do it, but this will work too, since we're just waiting on for it.
Excellent. That's only the type gotta pass then
Okay,
doesn't have a
let's bring it up. Take a look. It's been a while since I wrote straight Firebase instead of Firestore. I should remember these things. Gotcha. Okay, so the then is our promise coming back. So the only thing we would have to change is the snapshot value. Yep, cool. So actually this is where the await kind of becomes powerful, because this becomes your const snap equals, and then we don't need that part of it, and then good there. That should do the trick, I think. Snapshot.val. Oh, you're trying to pull something out. So this is actually good. Nah, I don't think that's gonna work. Your full snapshot. Child's fine, I guess. Val, there. Yeah, that should work. See how hesitant I am. Oops. So we'll push that back up one more time. So by the way, if like you start getting a ways down in this stuff and you're like throwing console logs and things like that and getting frustrated with it, you can run emulator on your machine and actually hit breakpoints in here. They can debug, excuse me, these kind of issues. You might have to hit that one of these times.
For local testing, and all I can think about is how slow that Android emulator is.
No, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's gotten better throughout the years,
Yeah.
but it's still.
No, you're right. Let's see if I totally screwed it up. Probably. Pizza! Woo! There's your read. There's not currently. We put another one in. So.
The C is having an issue where
We just throw it in here. Burger. I feel like I shouldn't be hungry, but apparently I am. Usually it defaults that though. It's interesting. Huh. Cool. Good job. You want to put it in pull request? So just to dive in a little further and kind of check out all the fun things that are happening. So feel free, we'll work on kind of putting a pull request in as we go along, but so everything in Firebase is actually a Google Cloud platform project as well, and you can used to be able to get to it a little easier, but I don't remember if I can get in this way. It used to be in functions you could go to logs and it would tie you right out to it.
You're going straight to like the dot?
Yeah. And logs. Yeah. Perfect. Now this might fork on mine again because of the user issue. It looks like it has the right one.
Environmental variable. Don't have the command line for display action.
Oh, your functions?
So if you want, like, for example, I was building a Twitter bot. Yeah, trying to add in my environmental variable in my Firebase.
Didn't like it?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is actually what's running out here, and then if I open up all the cloud functions, you should see them. And I think to touch on the point you're covering, we'll look at the node module and that core package and all of them. Boy, this is really bad tonight. Were we having this discussion last night about quick labs? Like the time it took to create those? It was nuts last night. I still haven't got my certificate. It might be a problem. Is that my fault? All right, this thing completely went out to lunch. Okay, so I'm gonna kill the online side of this. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but as always, if you have any questions, feel free to hit us on Ajon P has the connection out to Slack. If you go down on the bottom, there's the Slack button. You can shoot me an email, whatever. Once that finally opens, it looks like our Wi-Fi is just toast at this point. It's trying hard. Probably. It's probably my Mac. You can jump in here and there will be a JAMStackGR channel or any other channel that you see out here. You can hang out and post questions in there or anywhere else. Or as always, just hit me up on the contact. I prefer Slack because then everyone else can jump in and talk. But that's all, folks. Appreciate your time. Take care. Good night.